I'm not going to tell you I told you so, but People magazine is reporting that Porsha Williams has filed for divorce after only 15 months of being married to Simon Guobadia.
Who said that? Porsha Williams coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? That's false. But Porsha guobadia is in the building. See y'all.
So according to People magazine, Porsha Williams and Simon Guobadia's marriage is coming to an end over a year after they tied the knot. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum filed for divorce from Guobadia on Thursday in Atlanta, according to court documents obtained by People. So this divorce news is coming after it was revealed just a few days ago that Simon Guobadia was applying for U.S. citizenship and it was denied. It exposed his credit card fraud history, his ID fraud, and that his marriages weren't valid. I told you there was a reason Peace Juice was returned.
Now, why I'll remember Porsche Williams right. She stood up for her man, telling everyone to find a partner with high standards. But here's the thing she said, even if there's a tiny red flag, walk away. Well, get ready, because we're diving into a recent incident that might make Porsche rethink her own advice.
Will the real Simon Guobadia please stand up? Because according to these court documents, Simon Guobadia applied for U.S. citizenship and was denied due to his criminal past. So you already know the history between Porsha Williams and Simon Guobadia, how they got together. He came on the show and he was married to Fallon Guobadia at the time, now Fallon Pena, and now she has a baby with that other man. You know the history. However, they've been together. She hasn't been on the show. She just announced that she's coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 16. According to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk, they write this. They said court documents listed Simon's background as the reason for his citizenship denial. In August of 1982, he overstayed his visa. In September of 1987, he pleaded guilty to bank and credit card fraud, a felony offense. In January of 1989, he was arrested for unauthorized use of a vehicle, and in 1990, he was arrested for ID fraud. But he didn't stop.
So Portia went on about how her husband Simon had no red flags. But what if I told you it's like deja vu from those true crime TikToks? You know, the ones where people discover shocking secrets about their partners. Now we're about to spill the tea on Simon's past. And trust me, it's jaw-dropping, so stick around for the real bombshells that are about to be exposed. Well, Portia confidently declared that her husband Simon had no red flags. I mean, she really laid it out there saying find a nice partner, keep your standards high, okay? And if it's someone showing red flags, just leave. But here's where it gets interesting. Portia insisted that even the smallest red flag was not a deal breaker for her. Isn't exactly a stranger to the wrong side of the law. His rap sheet is more like a novel starting way back in 1982 when he first came to the US on a visitor's visa. Back then, he had a taste of legal trouble, involving credit card fraud leading to his voluntary departure in 1985. Fast forward to 1987, Simon pleaded guilty to bank and credit card fraud, a felony offense that's just the beginning. In 1989, he got nabbed for unauthorized use of a vehicle, followed by an ID fraud arrest in 1990, and of course, overstaying his visa and getting into trouble in 1991. He was ordered to be deported in 1992, physically removed from the US. This isn't some rumors, this is Simon's reality, and it doesn't stop there. Simon, as determined to stay in the US, even scamming his way back under a different identity through the Special Agricultural Workers SAW program.
You know the history. However, they've been together. She hasn't been on the show. She just announced that she's coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 16. According to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk, they write this. They said court documents listed Simon's background as the reason for his citizenship denial. In August of 1982, he overstayed his visa. In September of 1987, he pleaded guilty to bank and credit card fraud, a felony offense.
We're not done exposing Simon's secrets. Remember Portia's speech about high standards? Well, it seems like Simon might need a ref pressure on that because his track record is raising some serious eyebrows. Simon used a fake publicity firm to play the smoke and mirrors game with his net worth. Yep, you heard it right. He had this firm post anything he sent them, making it look like they verify his net worth by checking his financial records, but that's not all Simon's business website supposedly outcasing his thriving ventures was nothing more than a basic template. It lacked any real description of what he did for a living. It's like he was living in a world of assumptions, creating a facade that just couldn't stand up to scrutiny now. Let's get into the surprising details by 2020. 1. Simon reportedly had 21 liens, 9 judgments, and not one but 2 loans from PNC Bank for his fancy Rolls Royces. And hold on, it doesn't stop there. He allegedly owed a significant sum in IRS back taxes and was laying the Chapter 11 bankruptcy card multiple times. In 2021, reports surfaced that he was likely heading for Chapter 11 bankruptcy again, this time for his Simon restaurant and club. It's like a house of C's, one that's built on questionable financial foundations, and this info isn't some deep web secret. It's all out there, publicly available if you dig into the records. But before we spill even more tea on Simon's shady ventures, let's take a closer look at Porsha and Simon's relationship timeline. It all started back in April 2021 when Simon and his ex-wife Feline dropped the bombshell that they were getting a divorce. A month later, Simon and Porsha announced their engagement. Now most people might see this as moving at warp speed, but hold on, it gets messier. Porsha and Simon weren't just a post-divorce fling. They had been hanging around since at least September 2020. That's a good chunk of time before the divorce announcement. And guess what? Porsha wasn't the only one in the picture. Jessica Harris, who claimed she had also been dating Simon since March 2021. Simon allegedly told her he wanted to get to know her more, hinting at a potential relationship once his divorce with Feline was finalized. But then Porsha and Simon announced their engagement. Jessica Harris wasn't having it. She spoke out, sharing her side of the story, recounting how Simon had taken her for a ride in his Ferrari, making promises of a future together, and all this while he was seemingly juggling multiple relationships.
Williams gets a brand new Rolls Royce from fiancé Simon.
Aha. The babies are coming home. Yes. Yes. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome to your new home.
Simon supposedly gifted Porsha Alvish $300,000 car, a gesture that made waves across social media. Now on the surface, it seems like a dream gift, right? Well, not so fast. Let's dig a bit deeper into this present. Back in 2022, Porsha proudly shared on Instagram her new ride, complete with an orange interior and a giant red bow. But in August 2020, Simon's ex-wife Feline posted a photo posing next to a Rolls Royce with the exact same orange interior. The question on everyone's mind: did Simon give Porsha his same car he gifted Feline? Simon insisted they were different cars, but the uncanny resemblance raised eyebrows. And let's not forget, these are the same cars tied to PNC Bank loans in 2021. That's right. It's a complicated situation, and we've only scratched the surface. Court documents don't lie, and Simon's history is laid bare. His criminal activities date back to 1982 when he first stepped foot in the U.S. on a visitor's visa. Fast forward through the 80s, and in 90 letter card fraud, unauthorized vehicle use, ID fraud. The man was busy, and not in a good way. Now, let's break it down. Simon overstayed his visa, pleaded guilty to felony offenses, got tangled up with the law repeatedly, and faced deportation orders. It's a history that reads like a suspense and thriller, and the courtroom drama is far from over.